The Bible talks about us being made in God's image. What does that mean exactly? And of course, the Bible literalists that we were complaining about yesterday would take that too far and say that that means that God must look physically like us in some way. This is where we get the motif of the old man with the long white beard floating around on some throne in the sky somewhere. And of course, that's not theologically accurate. It's a complete fabrication. It turns a lot of people off because it's so fictionalized. None of it's accurate. No, that's not what the Bible's referring to when it says that we're made in God's image. What it's referring to is that unlike anything in creation, anything else in creation, we possess these divine qualities that is unique in us, unique in humanity itself. And these divine qualities have these metaphysical properties that allows us a significant amount of control over the cosmos. They can be reduced down to three specific things. The first being a capacity to recognize beauty and to experience it through love. The second is sentience, which is self-awareness. And the third, and the most important of them all, is freedom. We're born with this. And the Adam and Eve story is trying to illustrate this in a clever, metaphorical sort of way. If you recognize Adam and Eve, they have all these qualities, and they experience them through their interaction with each other. But you might say, well, what about this serpent that's sort of planted there almost as a trap to get them to defy God's will because they were forbidden, remember, from eating of the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But they were still free to do so, right? They were free to make that decision, even though it was against the natural order, against what God had instructed them, according to the story. They were still free to do it. God didn't come down and say, no, don't do it, because that would violate the divine nature. And that's not something God is going to do. We're always free. Yetzer Hara comes out of Judaism as a concept that explains, recognized as the proclivity of humanity to do evil, at least the capacity to do evil. And you might say, well, where did it come from? Why did God put the serpent there? Why did he allow us to fall and commit original sin and screw up the world if you're looking just at Judeo-Christian theology? And the reality is that comes from freedom. You're not free if you don't have the capacity to make alternative choices that are outside of the natural order in which you were born. If I love you, but you don't love me back, but I perform some kind of spell to make you love me, is there any merit in that? Is there any truth in that relationship? Of course not. Why would the divine want to have a relationship with us that is based upon what we're forced to be? We have to have the freedom to be something other than what the divine wants us to be. That's where Yetzer Hara comes in. It's an essential element, but it is also where the capacity to do evil comes from. We'll talk more about that next time.